In the calm shallows of a tropical lagoon, gently resting on the ocean floor, lies a creature so familiar, yet so completely misunderstood. With its elegant, symmetrical arms stretching outward like the points of a living compass, it's often mistaken for a plant, or even a pretty shell washed up on the sand. But make no mistake, this is no decoration. This is a sea star. And no, it's not actually a fish. Despite the name starfish, scientists have long since agreed to call them sea stars instead, because unlike true fish, sea stars have no gills, no fins, and not even a brain. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, how does something with no brain survive in the wild? That's the magic of sea stars. They're not just survivors, they're one of the ocean's most fascinating alien like life forms. They're predators, scavengers, explorers, and they've been around for hundreds of millions of years. And once you get to know them, you might agree. Sea stars are way cooler than most of us ever realized. Let's start with the basics. Most sea stars have 5 arms, though some species can have up to 10, 20, or even 40 arms spiraling from their center. Their arms aren't just for show, they're loaded with hundreds, sometimes thousands of tiny tube feet that help them move, grip surfaces, and even open the shells of prey. That's right, these gentle looking stars, they're carnivores. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Sea stars come in a rainbow of colors and textures. Some are velvety smooth, others are rough and spiky. You'll find fiery red ones crawling along coral reefs, bright purple ones clinging to Pacific tide pools, and camouflaged brown and gray stars blending into the sand like underwater ninjas. Their bodies are built around a unique radial symmetry, meaning if you cut them like a pizza, each slice looks the same. There's no front or back, no left or right, just a central disc and arms radiating outward. And while they don't have eyes like you and me, they do have eye spots at the tips of their arms. These tiny sensors can detect changes in light, helping the sea star know whether it's hidden in shadow or out in the open. Still, the most mind-blowing part is inside. Sea stars don't have blood. They don't even have a heart. Instead, they use a water vascular system, basically a series of canals and tubes that pump seawater through their bodies. That's what powers their movement, feeds their tissues, and allows them to cling to rocks with incredible force. If you've ever tried to pry a sea star off a rock, you know exactly how strong they can be. Underneath their body lies their mouth. Yes, they eat from the bottom. But it's not just that, they actually do something wild when it's feeding time. Say a sea star finds a tasty clam. It climbs on top, wraps its arms around it, and uses those tiny tube feet to slowly pry the shell open. It can take hours, sometimes days. The clam resists, of course, clamping its shell shut. But the sea star is patient. Eventually, the clam tires. A tiny gap opens, and that's when the sea star does the unthinkable. It pushes its stomach out of its mouth, yes, out of its body, and inserts it into the clam's shell. The stomach surrounds the soft body of the clam, digesting it externally. Once the meal is complete, the sea star pulls the stomach back inside, like nothing happened. That's some serious nightmare fuel, for mollusks at least. But sea stars don't just have creepy feeding habits. They have superpowers too. Cut off one of their arms, they can regrow it. Some species can regenerate an entire body from just a single limb, as long as part of the central disc remains. In fact, a few can reproduce this way, splitting into two and growing into separate sea stars. Talk about biological backup. And speaking of reproduction, many sea stars reproduce sexually, releasing sperm and eggs into the ocean in huge spawning events. The fertilized eggs float along in the current, becoming tiny, free-swimming larvae. After a few weeks, they settle on the ocean floor and begin their transformation familiar star shape. Others can reproduce asexually, budding off new individuals without any fertilization at all. Nature has equipped them with not just one way to carry on the species, but several. As for where they live, well, almost everywhere. Sea stars are global citizens. You'll find them in warm tropical reefs, chilly North Atlantic waters, and even in the pitch-black depths of the ocean, thousands of meters down. They can handle temperatures from near freezing to warm bath-like shallows. They cling to coral, crawl across rocks, snuggle into sand, and even hide inside underwater caves. But while they might seem like peaceful drifters, sea stars play a crucial role in marine ecosystems. Some species are keystone predators, meaning if they disappear, the entire balance of life shifts. For example, the ochre sea star on North America's west coast helps control mussel populations. Without it, mussels would take over, pushing out other species and destroying diversity in the tidal zone. And then there's the crown of thorns sea star, an absolute terror to coral reefs. These spiny giants feed on coral polyps. In small numbers, they're just part of the reef community. But when populations explode, often due to pollution or overfishing of their predators, they can devastate reefs, eating through entire sections like a slow motion wildfire. It's a reminder that even the most beautiful creatures can become destructive when nature's balance is thrown off. Unfortunately, sea stars themselves are also under threat. In recent years, an event known as sea star wasting disease has wiped out massive populations across the Pacific coast. The disease causes lesions, loss of limbs, and eventually the sea stars literally disintegrate. In some areas, entire species have vanished from shorelines where they were once abundant. Scientists believe a virus may be involved, but warming ocean temperatures, pollution, and ecosystem stress are likely playing a role as well. The disease spreads rapidly and leaves little time for populations to recover. It's a tragic irony. These animals, so capable of regrowth and survival, can be wiped out by changes too fast and too big for them to adapt to. And yet, sea stars continue to amaze us. Their quiet presence on the ocean floor hides a fierce, bizarre, and beautiful reality. They are ancient, resilient, and entirely unlike anything else. No heart, no brain, no blood. Yet somehow they navigate the sea. They hunt, they heal, they give life. So, what can we learn from the sea star? Maybe that being different isn't a weakness. Maybe strength comes not from speed or teeth, but from adaptability, patience, and balance with the world around you. The sea star is a reminder that nature doesn't play by our rules, it writes its own. And if we want to keep discovering more of these wonders, more of these strange and beautiful lives beneath the surface, we have to protect the ocean they call home. So, what can you do? Start small. Reduce single use plastics, support marine conservation, learn about the ecosystems around your coastline, and most importantly, share the stories of these incredible animals. Because the more we know, the more we care. And the more we care, the better chance they have. So, next time you see a sea star, whether in a tide pool or a reef, remember it's not just a pretty shape in the sand, it's a survivor, a predator, a mystery, a marvel. Thank you for joining me today to uncover the secret world of sea stars. If you enjoyed this journey beneath the waves, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who loves the ocean, and hit subscribe to support more stories from the deep. And in the next episode, we're going deeper. There's a creature that glows in the dark, vanishes like a ghost, and has eyes that move independently. Can you guess what it is? See you next time, Ocean Explorer.